I'm Adrian Seet, and this is Nightline, news making the headlines. PM urges ASEAN leaders to guard against a divisive action by major powers. And local white rice production to recover within a month. Thanks for joining us. Dato Sri Anwar Ibrahim has reminded ASEAN leaders that they must guard against divisive actions from major powers by constantly upholding the group's centrality. The Prime Minister said the group, where its diversity proved to be its strength, must enhance its institutional capabilities, streamline mechanisms and ensure timely implementation of its decisions.
We must not allow all that has been achieved to be undermined by the unbridled rivalry of major powers.
Anwar said this during Malaysia's intervention at the plenary session at the 43rd ASEAN Summit and related summits held in Jakarta, Indonesia on Tuesday. He pointed out that ASEAN's successes and ability in maintaining a region that is peaceful, stable, secure and prosperous have attracted many to establish relations with the bloc, including major powers, whose rivalries are being played out right at the centre of and adjacent to the region. Thus, ASEAN has the unique opportunity to bring together competing parties in the region to remind them of the need to prioritise dialogue and cooperation. Issues in the South China Sea must also be resolved peacefully and rationally based on the universally recognised principle of international law. Anwar also urged ASEAN leaders to push for greater economic integration within the group and strive towards a regional economic architecture that is vibrant, inclusive, sustainable and resilient. He added that intra-ASEAN trade, which currently stands at only 22.3% of the bloc's total trade, must be increased and greater strategic arrangements should be undertaken to enhance market integration. Currently, ASEAN has a combined gross domestic product of nearly $3 trillion, despite the global economic uncertainties, making the bloc the fifth largest economy globally and is projected to become the fourth largest by the year 2030. Earlier hosts Indonesia warned on Tuesday against Southeast Asia's bloc getting dragged into big power rivalry as leaders are seeking to dispel worry about rifts over peace efforts in Myanmar. Indonesian President Joko Widodo, in his opening speech, called on the group to devise a long-term tactical strategy that is relevant and meets people's expectations. He also urged his counterparts not to turn ASEAN into an arena for rivalries.
Jangan jadikan kapal kami, ASEAN, sebagai arena rivalitas yang saling menghancurkan. Tapi jadikanlah kapal ASEAN ini sebagai ladang untuk menumbuhkan kerjasama, untuk menciptakan kemakmuran, menciptakan stabilitas, menciptakan perdamaian yang tidak hanya bagi kawasan, tapi juga bagi dunia.
Indonesia has attempted to engage all stakeholders in Myanmar, but unilateral moves by Thailand to include the country's shunned military leaders who are banned from attending high-level ASEAN meetings have dented the bloc's credibility and led to division amongst member states.
Rendah punya rendah, suluh punya suluh, boom, nampak satu jasad dalam sungai itu.
Temui dalam parit ladang kelapa sawit Tikam Batu, berhampiran Taman Ru.
Cara mereka buat kat arwah adik ni memang kata cara binatang lah kan.
Fail Mahkamah, Rabu 9 malam di TV3 dan stream secara HD di Tonton.
The Agriculture and Food Security Ministry is confident that white rice production in the country will recover within a month through the special local white rice program. Its Minister Dato Sri Muhammad Sabu said several intervention steps have been taken through the program, including directing rice millers to increase production by 20% as a short-term measure.
Itu kenaikan harga berlaku kalau ada berlaku adalah beras import kerana ia bukan dalam kawalan beras tempatan masih lagi di bawah kawalan. Buat masa ini kekal dengan RM2.60 sekilo. Kita lihat di sini yang 5 kilo RM13, yang 10 kilo RM26. Ini sedang ditangani dan pihak kawasan beli padi dan beras, negara akan bertindak sentiasa akan mengawasi perkara.
Mohamad said this to the media after visiting a supermarket in Tampoy, Johor on Tuesday to ensure there was sufficient local rice on sale. He added a number of engagement sessions with rice industry stakeholders will be held on Thursday to discuss methods and mechanisms for the recovery of rice production, in line with increased demand following the hike in the price of imported rice. Mohamad also stressed that the ministry's earlier initiatives, such as the Mini Sekinchan Smart Big-Scale Paddy Field project, were expected to help in the recovery of local rice production. This was because the project can produce a massive harvest of 11 tons of paddy per hectare. On the issue of middlemen controlling 95% of the country's rice production, the minister said it was not true and that it was a mere allegation. Meanwhile, Kedah Consumer Association CAKE has called on the government to dismantle the monopoly on rice imports held by Padi Beras Nasional Berhad or Bernas. Its president, Muhammad Rizal Yusof, said that the lack of competition in the distribution of the commodity has compelled rice packagers to resort to unscrupulous means of profiteering.
Isu beras ini bukan isu hari ini, 10 tahun lepas, 20 tahun lepas pun ada isu ini. Masa beras diberi beras subsidi hancur tu, masa RM16 tu pun dah berlaku penyelewengan. Hari ini pun kita rasa macam beras import dah naik harga. Ada pihak-pihak akan mengambil kesempatan lah terhadap kenaikan harga ni. Dia menukar beras import dan dia akan mengauk untung berlebihan lah di situ.
Rizal said this to reporters after inspecting local white rice supplies at Bandar Besar Alostar in Kedah on Tuesday. He also urged the government to implement short-term solutions by enforcing separate packaging operations to ensure that local rice is not packaged as imported rice. He added that the government can also ensure that the final packaging of imported rice is conducted by the exporting country to avoid misappropriation. The Attorney General's Chambers, AGC, stressed that the prosecution's application for Deputy Prime Minister Dato Sri Ahmad Zahid Hamidi to be granted a discharge not amounting to an acquittal DNAA on all his corruption charges involving Yayasan Akal Budi funds was made based on cogent reasons, which were submitted and accepted by the court. In a statement on Tuesday, the AGC pointed out that the presiding judge in the trial, Justice Dato Colin Lawrence Sequeira, who made the ruling, stated that the 11 grounds to halt the trial presented by the prosecution were also solid and convincing. The statement was issued following claims by certain parties that the Attorney General's decision to drop the charges against Ahmad Zahid was immoral. On Monday, Ahmad Zahid, who is also UMNO president, was granted DNAA on all 47 of his criminal breach of trust, bribery and money laundering charges in relation to the Yayasan Akal Budi's funds to enable further investigations into the case. The decision, however, drew criticisms from various parties, including activists and opposition leaders, demanding an explanation from the AGC.
This week on Money Matters, smear campaigns against palm oil, how to put a stop to it once and for all, expectation of a rise in crude palm oil production by year-end, and addressing labour shortage in the palm oil sector. Join us with Malaysian Palm Oil Council Chairman Dato Carl Back-Nielsen this Saturday at 5 p.m. on TV3 and live HD stream on Tonton.
The Election Commission EC recorded 90.72% early voter turnout on Tuesday for the Pulai parliamentary by-election in Johor. It said the early voting process that saw 831 voters present out of 927 was carried out smoothly at the two designated polling centres without any untoward incidents. A total of 788 out of 881 early voters, consisting of Royal Malaysia Police personnel and their spouses, came to cast their ballots at the Region 2 Marine Police Headquarters in Tampoi that was closed at 5 p.m, while 43 out of 46 people fulfilled their civic duties as early voters at the Kempas Police Station that was over by noon. The Pulai Parliamentary and Simpang Jeram state by-elections are being held following the death of the incumbent, Datuk Sri Salahuddin Ayub, who was also the Domestic Trade and Cost of Living Minister, on July 23rd. However, there was no early voting in Simpang Jeram. Polling for both by-elections will be held this Saturday. Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin has been summoned by the police to give his statement on Monday over his remarks on voting for the Pakatan Harapan candidate in the Pulai parliamentary by-election. Bukit Aman Criminal Investigation Department CID Director Datuk Sri Muhammad Shuhaili Muhammad Zain said that the Perikatan Nasional Chairman's statement was expected to be taken at around 9:30 a.m. Shuhaili, however, refused to disclose the location where the statement is expected to be taken. The case is being investigated under the Penal Code for issuing a statement that could cause alarm and public fear, as well as the Communications and Multimedia Act for using network facilities, services or applications to make or share comments that were deemed offensive, indecent or false. Previously, a video went viral on social media showing the Pago MP allegedly issuing a fatwa declaring that it would be haram to vote for Amanah Suhaizan Kayat in the Pulai polls this Saturday. He allegedly made the remark at a campaign rally in Johor Bahru last Saturday. The rumours and reports circulating regarding the passing of TV3's Nightline news anchor Raymond Go are entirely false. Following this, his family has requested public cooperation in removing and refraining from sharing any fake news, inappropriate pictures or posts relating to Go's alleged passing. In a statement on Tuesday, Go's wife Farida Tay, together with his family, urged all individuals and media outlets to verify facts before disseminating any news. The family also said they will provide timely updates on Go's condition through official statements to keep everyone informed. The statement added that Go, whose Muslim name is Muhammad Zaman Go, was still receiving treatment at a hospital in Petaling Jaya. The family also appreciated the love and support that he has received over the past week and asked all parties to continue to pray for his well-being. Go was admitted to the hospital last Wednesday after suffering a stroke. Thailand swears in new Prime Minister and Cabinet. News from the foreign front when we return. We're back with news from the foreign front. The Monetary Authority of Singapore, MAS, has issued a lifetime prohibition order, PO, against Ng Chong Hua, also known as Roger Ng, a former managing director of Goldman Sachs Singapore. In a statement on Tuesday, MAS said the PO was issued following Ng's conviction in the United States for conspiracy to launder money embezzled from One Malaysia Development Berhad 1MDB and the violation of the United States Foreign Corrupt Practices Act. Under the PO, which took effect on Tuesday, Ng is permanently prohibited from performing any regulated activity under the Securities and Futures Act and from providing any financial advisory services under the Financial Advisors Act. The country's central bank said he is also permanently prohibited from taking part in the management, acting as a director or becoming a substantial shareholder of any capital market and financial advisory services firms. Ng was convicted in the United States on April the 8th, 2022 and was sentenced to 10 years imprisonment on March the 9th, 2023. Thai Prime Minister Srettha Thavisin and his cabinet ministers on Tuesday were sworn in before King Maha Vajiralongkorn before the royal endorsement of the new portfolios last week. Srettha and 33 cabinet ministers pledged their loyalty to the monarchy during the ceremony at the Dusit Palace in Bangkok. The 61-year-old, who also serves as finance minister, said his cabinet will hold a special meeting on Wednesday in preparation of the policy statement address to the parliament scheduled for next Monday. He added that the government will create a legitimate and effective administration that upholds the rule of law, promotes public participation and ensures equality for all. Srettha was elected as the Southeast Asian nation's new Prime Minister in August in a parliamentary vote. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un will reportedly travel to Russia this month to meet Russian President Vladimir Putin and discuss the possibility of supplying weapons to the Kremlin for the war in Ukraine. According to U.S. officials, it is believed that the two leaders would discuss Kim sending Russia artillery shells and anti-tank missiles in exchange for Moscow's advanced technology for satellites and nuclear-powered submarines. However, its details of the expected meeting were still unclear, but added that it was likely to take place in the Russian port city of Vladivostok, given its proximity to North Korea. Meanwhile, White House National Security spokesman John Kirby last week said that the United States was concerned that arms negotiations between the two countries were advancing. Alcaraz cruises into quarterfinal sports after this breather. On to sports. Tennis, the 2023 US Open. Alexander Zverev showed off his supreme fitness as he outlasted Yannick Sinner in a grueling 5-set thriller. Take a look. Zverev took the first set 6-4 just for Sinner to draw level, winning the second set 6-3. 2020 US Open finalist Zverev then claimed the third set 6-2. He again failed to keep his momentum as he lost the fourth set 4-6, bringing the game to a decider. Zverev finally sealed his spot in the last as he won the fifth set 6-3. Waiting for Zverev in the quarters is Carlos Alcaraz. The defending champion wasted little time in seeing off Matteo Arnaldi. The world number one was a comprehensive 6-3, 6-3, 6-4 winner inside the Arthur Ashe Stadium. Also in the last 8 was Daniil Medvedev. While Alex de Minaur did well to push the third seed, Medvedev always seemed to summon his best tennis on the courts of Flushing Meadows, taking a 2-6, 6-4, 6-1, 6-2 win to advance to the quarterfinals. Medvedev's victory marks the fourth time in 5 years that he has reached this stage in New York, extending his record here to 27-5. He will next face Andrei Rublev. In the women's category, Aryna Sabalenka delivered a dominant victory over Daria Kasatkina of Russia. Sabalenka, who was guaranteed to overtake the number one ranking next Monday from Iga Swiatek after the poll's fourth-round loss to Yelena Ostapenko, was at her best as she claimed a 6-1, 6-3 win for a spot in the quarterfinals. Joining her was Madison Keys. The world number 17 overpowered fellow American Jessica Pegula 6-1, 6-3 in just over an hour. Waiting for her in the last 8 is Markita Vondrousova of Czech. More to come. Attempt to smuggle more than 1 million ringgit worth of ketamine foiled. Stay with us. Thanks for joining us. The Customs Department has foiled an attempt to smuggle 20.14 kilograms of drugs with an estimated value of 1.2 million ringgit hidden in a parcel declared as medical supplies. The parcel was seized at the Kuala Lumpur International Airport KLIA Air, Mail and Courier Centre on August 28th. Its Deputy Director General for Enforcement and Compliance, Dato Sazali Mohamad, said checks on the parcel revealed 20 aluminium foil packs containing crystal powder suspected to be ketamine. The parcel had arrived from the Middle East on August 25th and had a fake recipient address in Nilai, Negeri Sembilan.
Yang alamat tu kan dia berdekatan dengan sebuah kolej lah. Jadi memang kita berpandukan pada kes-kes sebelum ini kan, memang kita dapati adalah macam peningkatan daripada segi orang kata pelajar-pelajar universiti kan yang orang kata membuat pembelian dadah secara online.
It was believed that the drugs were wrapped in aluminium foil to evade detection by scanning machines. No arrest has been made so far, as investigations were still underway. From the start of the year until August 31st, the Customs Department has dealt with 74 cases, with seizures valued at 13.4 million ringgit and 6 arrests at the KLIA area. 4 men have been remanded over a boat capsize incident that resulted in the death of a foreign tourist in the waters of Pulau Timba-Timba near Sempurna, Sabah on Monday. A 4-day remand order until September the 8th has been issued against the 4 boat workers, comprising a local and 3 foreigners aged between 22 and 40, to assist police investigations into the mishap. Sempurna Police Chief Superintendent Muhammad Farhan Lee Abdullah said the 4 suspects were detained after authorities received a report on the incident involving 9 foreign tourists on Monday at 4 p.m. He added that the 38-year-old male victim was believed to have drowned, while the other 8 were rescued when the boat capsized at 10:10 a.m. The actual cause of the incident is still being determined. The case is being investigated under the Penal Code for causing death by negligence that provides imprisonment of up to 2 years, a fine, or both upon conviction. In Malacca, 2 female bank customers and a security guard were injured after an auxiliary policeman accidentally discharged his rifle in the lobby of the bank branch in Jasin on Tuesday. District Police Chief Deputy Superintendent Ahmad Jamil Ratzi said the 59-year-old auxiliary policeman has been detained to assist in investigations for the alleged negligence in handling the firearm. The incident occurred at about 12:55 p.m. when the suspect, who works for a multinational company, was accompanying a fellow employee to collect money for the staff payroll. Based on initial investigations, the suspect had the gun strap hanging on his shoulder with the muzzle of the Winchester rifle pointing towards the floor. However, while correcting the position of the firearm, his finger accidentally pulled the trigger. The shot that was fired then hit the floor, causing the floor mosaic to break before fragments hit the 3 victims. The 25-year-old security guard sustained a small cut on his right ear, while the 2 women aged 28 and 46 were injured on their legs. The case is being investigated under Section 39 of the Arms Act. As we wrap up Nightline this time around, let's take a look at a few seasoned Moscow pigeon enthusiasts as they uphold the centuries-old Russian hobby, where pigeons are bred for fun by the rural gentry and aristocrats. With that, I'm Adrian Seet. Thank you for watching and have a pleasant day ahead.